All right, then, everyone. Sorry for the delayed start. It's a coming back to Hull thing, and having all sorts of different things to try and sort out, and it's getting the computer loaded up. And when you're trying to delay it by just 15 minutes, and it breaks for 5 of those, yeah, it's a bit of a difficult one. In terms of, it's going to be a bit of a different preview tonight because I haven't, with me coming back and travelling and what have you, I need to get into a better routine of doing all this prep on the train. But no, I don't have a shared shirt. I can come up with one. I can come up with one on the fly if you just give me a sec. And look, because of all this, look, it's not your normal preview, but I didn't record a match reaction and what have you to QPR just with me being busy and stuff like that. That's how it goes. But I can, excuse me, I can give you a preview. I can give you excuse me, a shared shirt. Just without any graphics. I can give you a predicted team without graphics. There's a lot actually I could pick for shared shirts. Abu Kamara, obviously, who we have just signed. There's Robert Snodgrass, Robbie Brady, Diamersi Mbakani. But I think looking through this list, the one I would have gone for, with it being the anniversary game this time last week, David Rocky Rocastle. Brilliant player, gone far too soon. Sadly died when he was only 33 due to a rare form of, not a rare form, sorry, an aggressive form of cancer attacking his immune system. But he was he was on loan at Norwich just before he joined us on loan. Was Rocky. He made the exact same number of appearances for both us and Norwich. Norwich in the first division, 11 games, and us in the third division back then, 11 games before he left Arsenal. Was he at Arsenal then? No, he wasn't. He was at Chelsea then, wasn't he? Before he left Chelsea to go and join Sabah in Malaysia, a team that still exists in the state of Sabah in Malaysia. They compete in the Malaysian Super League now. In terms of players that they've got, there's not a whole load you'd recognise. In fact, there's not any you would recognise. Not that Brazilian guy never did anything. That Portuguese guy never did anything. He came out of Porto's youth academy. If you were into your Portuguese league on FIFA and that, you might have seen him playing for Santa Clara in 2016. But other than that, there's not a whole lot. But yeah, I'd have gone for Rocky out of all of those. Quite funny how the club have just tweeted that it's see you all in Norfolk with Abu Kamara as the picture. Snodgrass could be used. Yeah, George Long's got a new contract at Norwich, hasn't he? He's just gonna spend another couple of years as backup. Let's be honest. Evening, Joe. Who was your player of the month? I've gone for Louis Coyle again. I think again for the second month in a row, Balumi's only done it. Just give me a second. I'm having a call. Now, so everyone, Leo is live. If you've got anything to say, Leo, you can say it.
Up the Tigers. Anyone to buy some paintings off me? You can.
Instagram at Leo J Artist. Everyone, look, mate. I'll ring you in about. I'll ring you in a little bit when I've finished.
See you later.
See you in a bit, mate. Thank you. Call over. I chose Balumi simply for his reaction since his big mistake at Sheffield United. Toss up between Coyle and Panda, I'd agree. Evo, because I didn't do a match reaction for QPR. Let's talk in depth a little bit about QPR, shall we? Wowzer. There's Leo. Wow. Evo, Panda. Oh my goodness me. Oh my goodness me. How that man has bounced back from pre-season and everyone doubting him and shut us all up in every single league game this season. Ivor Pando Sa, honestly, the Pink Panther in goal. Absolutely unbelievable. Ivor, man. At the minute, Carl Rushworth, I know Coxie in chat, you were in our Tigers Talk Live for the podcast on Wednesday. But oh my goodness me. That man is keeping Carl Rushworth firmly on that bench. So much so that when I have a reading week in a few weeks' time from uni and I get a little bit of a week off from no teaching, I'm going to go down to the training ground and try and get like Zambrano on a card before he's banned, and all the new players from the second half of the transfer window. But Carl Rushworth on that card, I've had to use one of his announcement photos just because I don't see him at the minute getting a game until the third round of the FA Cup in January. I honestly do not. The way Ivor Panda is playing, Paul said it on the pod as well. I think he's warranted. He deserves a mistake. He deserves to have a bit of an off game. Not that players should, but he's built up enough goodwill to deserve one. And his passing stats are better than Allsop's were at the minute last season. He's saved loads. He's not misplaced a short pass, according to stats, which I think is a little bit wrong because that Bristol City game on the opening day, I think he misplaced a few there. But even then, it's the form that Ivor Panda is in. He is undroppable at the minute. And I think if it weren't for Louis Coyle just being so brilliant, Ivor Panda would be first name on the team sheet. Yeah. Absolutely superb. Absolutely superb. Crazy to think that if Rossini was still in charge, Allsop would still be our number one. And there's Ivor Panda playing this well that would be sat on the bench. Now we're starting to see a little bit of what Adjun was on about, aren't we? in terms of how much he rates Ivo Panda. And that Ivo Panda has acknowledged that pressure, that the owner rates him so highly and wanted him to play last season. And it's not been a burden for him now the league season started. He's stepped up to that pressure. He's been just phenomenal, really, in terms of, matching that expectation, that in living up to that expectation that Adjun's put on him. And to be honest, I don't think Tim Walter fully trusted him in pre-season. But I think now he's got no choice but to trust him. And everything now, we're still yet to be tested. Now we're on this run and things are starting to click and gel against a good team. And Norwich is going to be our first good team test. But I'd be lying if I said to you I wasn't optimistic or brave and confident enough to say that we can go out there and we can get 3 points. When you think about it, the only two teams we've been defeated by are Leeds and by Sheffield United. Two teams who have just dropped out the Premier League pretty much. Both with parachute payments, both with bigger budgets, both bigger clubs. And they're the only two we've lost to. It's just the manner of the draws before that sent everyone, myself included, into a bit of a tailspin. We've won 3 on the bounce. Let's just see how this goes, shall we? Let's see how Norwich goes. Let's see how Sunderland goes after the international break. We've got 3 tough games on the bounce: Norwich, Sunderland and Burnley. Let's see how we match up. And again, I don't think if we lose all 3, which I don't think we will, I don't think it immediately puts pressure back on Tim Walter's back again. Because it's not like he stumbled through these games with, let's say, a last-minute winner against Stoke and then 2 draws against Cardiff and QPR. Against Stoke, did we get a little bit of luck on our side, in our favour? Yes, 100%. But against Cardiff, we were clearly the better team, despite their evident frailties. And then against QPR, we defended super well when we had to, weathered a storm. The gaffer made changes when changes were necessary, in bringing Zambrano on, bringing Malem on to shore up the midfield, and bits like that. Subbing Giles on in the last few minutes, just for a little bit of extra defensive cover as a primary left back coming on at left wing as a player who can come in and do a job more on the defensive end. Yeah, I'm happy. I'm happy with the way things are going at the moment. I just want to see us play a better opposition to try and dispel some of the little doubts I've still got about, okay, we got away with that because they're poor, we got away with this because they weren't clinical enough, etc., etc. Against a better team like a Norwich, against Sunderland, or against Burnley, let's see how this goes. Coxie, in terms of you seeing Norwich, asking if Norwich is a free hit or are you expecting us to get a result? I don't think it's a free hit in the same way that I said Leeds and Sheffield United would be. I just didn't want Leeds and Sheffield United to get too bloody. I had the expectation that Leeds would be 4-0 and that Sheffield United would be minimum 3. But neither of them were. Did I still have my doubts? Yes, in terms of the way we played and how threatening we were in front of goal, etc., etc. But I think we're in a good enough patch now that we can expect to go to Norwich and try and get a result and hopefully not get jammed out of a point like we did last year. By the way, speaking of jamming, I mentioned in the week how I jammed myself into one of these and my shirt and what have you. All for this, just not to fit. So I've had to pre-order one anyway. Oh well. Oh well. Anyway, I heard today that Walter has the team train on the day of a game, which I found very interesting. I don't think it's so much train, because when they were at Stoke, they stayed where they asked to use the ground of Newcastle Town, not Newcastle that Geordie has just put in chat. From Newcastle under Lyme, not far from Stoke, and I think that's not so much train, but they're spending, like for Stoke, they were spending all day in the hotel the day before. So it was more a case of fill that time, get the players' bodies working, get them active, and so they're not just sat in the rooms or, sat in the hotel lobby all the time, just sort of willowing away. Not willowing away, but not doing anything, not being mobile. I understand the premise behind that. Will he do it for tomorrow? I don't think so. I think he'll have them up pre-match meal / breakfast. They'll get all their stuff together in the hotel. I think they'll have a little activation walk, as they call it, to go for a walk around the area around the hotel, a little wander around the block or just the hotel grounds, depending on what hotel they're staying in, to get them moving. But it was just because that game was a late kickoff that I think he wanted something more. The activation walks are quite common. A lot of teams do them. And I think that's what he'll have them doing in the morning before the 12:30 kickoff. I haven't got anything prepared, like I said at the start of the stream. So this is the team news then. Charlie Hughes and João Pedro could feature. Cynic is back in full training. Longman's getting there as well. And then that leaves Andy Smith and Harvey Cartwright as the two absentees. I spoke about shared shirts when Warlord asked what was going on with it, and I said I'd have picked Dave Rocastle. 11 games for each of the teams. Scored once for us, didn't score for Norwich. Passing at just 33 years old. Far, far, far too young. Yeah. R.I.P. Rocky. R.I.P. Rocky. My predicted team, I haven't got it prepared, but I think he'll make 2 changes. I think he'll bring Oscar Zambrano back in for Xavier Simons, and either Malum or Abdush Amr in for Casey Palmer. I can't decide which one. On the bench, Alzate will be on the bench. I think Hughes will come on the bench. Not sure about Puerta or Pedro yet. Because Walter says he wants to give Puerta some time. It sounds a lot Rossini with James Fairlong, this, doesn't it? Gustavo Puerta scored and got an assist for the under-21s in midweek in their league game away at Coventry. Feel sorry for Longman because pre-season he was class but not getting in the team now. Yeah, it's a real shame. It's a crying shame for Ryan Longman because in pre-season he really stepped up to the plate, but that injury at Reading just hit him at such a terrible time. And because it's kept him out for so long with needing surgery and what have you, yeah, it's a real shame. Zidane Nusa in, that's the guy from BK Hacken, the winger who we were linked with. And Dokan the Cynic out, dream starts January. Adjan won't sell Dodder. And we'll finish then on score predictions for the people watching in the chat. have we got? What have we got? Every time Puerta's brought up, Walter says he's very emotional, so I'm guessing Puerta's very vocal about not being in the team. He's a young lad settling into a new country, and although he chucked Zambrano straight in, there's clearly some sort of difference with Puerta. I'd have had him on the bench personally. I'd have brought him on by now, but I'd have had him on the bench over Burns. But because we've got an option to buy Puerta and we haven't Finn Burns. But I see why he's put Burns on there, just because he's centre back cover and that. But yeah, anyway, I am not going 3-1 Norwich, unfortunately, says IBD Warlord. 2-1 to the Tigers, last minute goal from Joao. 3-all. I'm going 2-1 win. 2-1 win. Goals, Chris Padilla, Liam Miller. By the way, on the pod, I predicted the first two scorers for the QPR game. I said Chris Padilla and, wildcard, Cody Drama. And then for this one, I said, I think I said Miller and another wildcard, Ivor Panda. And then, no, kidding. Anyway, right, I'm going to end it there because I'm home and I'm going to ring Leo back and spend a little bit of time with my family. Thank you for watching, everyone. I will see you all at some point tomorrow. I won't be watching the first half because I'm going to go and watch the under-18s in the PDL Cup, but I will be watching the second and I will try and listen to it on Radio Humberside. But thank you for watching. Excuse me. Up the Tigers. Goodbye.